What you're about to see is a mock presentation, kind of a pretend I'm at BlizzCon sort of fantasy. But this is one of the few agendas that I'm truly passionate about in the world of Warcraft. If I was on WoW's design team, this is what I would push for. If I was a big name in the YouTube or the streaming scene, I'd be preaching this all day and night, asking my followers to push this change. I'm not, but I'd love for you to watch this entire video. And if you really believe in this as I do, don't just comment and share your thoughts. Share this video with friends, current WoW players, ex-WoW players. Share it with Blizzard, on Twitter, on the forums. Share it with actual big content creators and streamers. I don't know if it's going to do a damn thing, but I'd never forgive myself if I didn't try. Anyway, thanks for suffering through the intro. Let's do this.
I want to thank everyone for joining me today. I'm Soul, and I have no affiliation with the Blizzard team. I run a small YouTube channel dedicated mostly to the world of Warcraft, and I'm a fan. And as a fan, I'm here to introduce a feature enhancement for WoW in the form of a fully revamped tool to help empower players to create lasting groups outside of the current scope of matchmaking, battle tags, and real ID. The current Guild Finder tool will be rebuilt from the ground up to be not just a tool, but a system. First, I'll present the opportunity WoW has created over the years based on the inevitable shifts in player behavior, along with the gaming industry. Thanks to the systems previously mentioned like matchmaking, battle tags, and real ID, it's become much easier for players to create groups from the ground up, from dungeon runs to rated battleground teams to full-on raid groups. These partnerships may or may not be temporary, and depend on players to curate and invest into their friend list. The current quick join and toast features introduced in Legion help to manage this. But what this does is create a system of convenience in part of the player who has an entire region's worth of WoW players to tap into. And this system reinforced the culture that's been building throughout the entire industry, this culture of matchmaking, pick up and play, so to speak. And it's for its undisputed benefits that it's also proven to be a double-edged sword. After all, if it's easy to go from one group to the next, it's easy to be picky about who to join, and it's easy to be fickle about whether to stick around if the going got tough. Now, I have no data to support this claim, but I do make this with conviction. There are many players in WoW who primarily experience group content using these convenient matchmaking tools, and in fact take advantage of it to where the agency of building lasting relationships becomes secondary. That's a basis of one critique about WoW, that the game has become more of a single-player experience. Taking in both the good and the bad, pugging is a popular thing to do compared to all the work that goes into building, maintaining, or just being part of a small community of like-minded players, namely, a guild. And guilds aren't just a symbol of strong relationships between players. They are literally a microcosm, a team, a family, a community within a community. That is a guild compared to purely match-made groups. But in contrast to the numerous features that help players to create these temporary partnerships, in-game support for building guilds has been given considerably less attention. To fill this hole, fans have created their own external groups and web applications with a positive intent, but with very fractured and inconsistent results. The existing Guild Finder tool, implemented in 2011, the year of Cataclysm, is the last and most recent effort put into elevating the prominence of guilds. It does let guildless players reach out, but the tool itself is woefully underpowered, even at its introduction, and its presence is symbolic to how the guild structure is perceived. On a side note, by the end of Cataclysm, the Raid Finder feature was introduced, giving millions of players access to raid content without the need of a guild. And since then, the sense of community and realm identity has either evolved or eroded. It just depends on how you see it. So why steer the boat, so to speak? Why try refocusing on guilds? I wouldn't consider it to be a shift of focus, but more like restoring the perspective. The world of Warcraft and all MMOs are not just about hopping in for a quick game among strangers, or a race to the finish. Part of it is the journey of building up not just your character, but that perfect team. And players interested in that need modernization and support that they haven't received. Guild building starts on the inside, with a single, passionate player who wants to make a difference, to lead a team to victory, to roleplay, or to just build a community of friends. But the tools of yesterday aren't enough. A web app in the corner of the internet is not enough. Spamming trade chat isn't enough. Relying on the organic need to overcome challenges as a group isn't enough. And neither is all of that put together. Just like players were given tools for the convenience to pick up and play with strangers, they need a robust system to build and refine lasting relationships that the existing tools don't offer. Investing time and development into a better system will put power into the hands of an aspiring leader, or an eager, what I'll call a free agent, will feel empowered to shape their own social circle. The primary benefit of modernizing the Guild Finder tool is to maintain an aging player base that swelled and contracted over nearly 13 years, leaving fractures within realm population. Character transfers, racial imbalances, and a host of other factors also contributed to this fracturing that coalesced realms and sharding technology doesn't entirely solve. But how about outright closing realms and then focusing on forcing population balancing through merging? That might force players together, but that's just an extreme version of what's already being done. The idea is to have a more direct hand in helping players come together, not just to mess with realms and see what might happen. The goal of the updated Guild Finder system is to draw upon the passion and ambition that already exists in players, and empower them to build strong bonds within a guild, not with the lure of in-game rewards and boons, but the chance to build a strong community, because that in itself is a reward. Success of the system suggests a 35 to 40% increase in the number of active guilds. The natural benefits of being part of a guild addresses the complaints about a lack of sense of community, unrealistic barriers to pugging, and a negative perception of the single-player experience. So why not help make more guilds? Alright, so that was a load of rhetoric and buzzwords to appeal to emotions. Now, let's get to the Guild Finder system itself. The system is going to serve the following purposes. It's going to allow certain players, who I will call free agents, to search for a guild just as they can now, but with much stronger filters and search options. Not only that, but free agents will have the option to list themselves individually, just like a guild does. That means the new system will also allow guild leaders and authorized officers to search for these listed free agents using similar filters and search options. The days of cold calling and spamming guildless players with add-ons are over. Guilds will have a chance to reach out directly to interested players. The backbone of this system is the Blizzard app, where the client will be used to manage communication between officers and free agents and allow the sending and receiving of guild invitations through the app. Real ID and BattleTags already provide a sort of foundation to allow communication between players across realms, but we'll enhance this further by adding components to the Blizzard app. Here's a concept of how the system will work, either in-game, through the Blizzard app, or both. A free agent one day wants to look for a guild to join because they're looking for a better opportunity than where they're at now. Opening the Guild tab will reveal a new Finder tab at the bottom. From there, players can go down one of two paths. One is to find a guild to join. The other option, if the player is part of a guild and is an authorized officer, is to find a free agent to recruit. This player isn't part of a guild at the moment, and that option isn't available to select, so let's find a guild. One new feature I mentioned earlier comes in the form of a simple checkbox to indicate that the player is interested in being approached by other guilds, which is off by default. Checking this box will list this specific character to become searchable by other guilds, but if the player chooses, they can make any number of their alt visible as well, directly from the tool. Interested guilds will be able to see pertinent information such as raid progression, item or prestige level, highest PvP rating, and so on and so forth. But let's get back to finding a guild. The new Guild Finder will need more robust search, sorting, and filtering options to help get free agents and guilds better connected without wasting each other's time due to a lack of information. Parameters can be much more specific, like specifying default languages and a time frame for activities, be it PvP, PvE, or roleplay activities. And these time specifications will be relative to these specific time zones. So if a free agent living in California wants to have a start time of 6 PM, their time at least, they should see a hit from a guild that has a start time of 9 PM over in New York City. An additional feature to add will be a search field, which I'll talk more about later. Search parameters are important, but refining these results with sorting options and filters mean just as much. The new guild finder will let free agents sort these results with relevant information parameters such as guild achievements, score, highest PvE or PvE achievement earned, and I don't know, maybe something like the average item level of the top 10 members. So let's say the player finds a guild to join, they think it's a good fit. All they have to do is hit the apply button, and that's it. For now. When the guild looks at the Finder tab, both the guild leader and authorized officers will have access to this second option to recruit free agents. Just like now, they can choose to list their guild as searchable by free agents, but instead of taking in applicants in a vacuum, guilds now have the power to reach out to aspiring players. The description field in the current guild finder helps if players happen to stumble onto the guild, but on top of a description field where guilds can lure players in with sassy talk, an entirely separate field will be used for tags and keywords to help their guild be more searchable in ways that can't reasonably be covered with a slider or a checkbox. A tag system opens the possibility of raising the visibility of, say, a level 60 guild, a twink guild, a roleplay guild that's made only of gnomes, an Iron Man running community, an LGBTQ-friendly guild, or a Taylor Swift fan club. That's what'll make a search option so powerful. Players can find what they want. Guilds can make clear just who it is that they are. As for the results and filters, they'll play out in a similar way. Officers will see a list of free agents available, and they can refine those results by maybe role, item level, or the highest achievement that was obtained. They can see a few of these people's alts and find some of them to be impressive. If an officer is interested, they can immediately send an invite to a free agent, and that's it. It's when either guilds or free agents reach out to one another when you're going to see even greater improvements to the guild finder system. Recipients will receive notifications in two ways. One is a visual cue from the in-game UI. The other is a notification from the Blizzard app. When this happens, we can see either the player or the guild who made the request, and we can have a look at them as if we ran a search on them ourselves. A weakness of the current guild finder is that communication is pretty much one way. When an applicant applies, a bridge is formed, but the primary method of communication is through whispers, which requires both sides to be logged in. Officers can also send an invite, but how many times have we seen an applicant try to invite them and then find them to be offline? The app provides an opportunity for two-way communication between the agent and guild officers with a simple and optional chat room, reserved only for this purpose. Offline messaging will be possible to make sure that communications aren't missed, but these simple rooms are only temporary to manage storage, and will be erased as soon as the recruitment process is either completed or cancelled. The app functionality will seamlessly set up BattleTag invites, but more importantly, set up remote guild invitation. All it takes is for an officer to send an invite, and then for the agent to accept it the next time they're logged into the app or in-game. So to reiterate, here's how the process works. A free agent requests to join a guild, or a guild sends an invite to a free agent. Just like in the current tool, a limit of 3 of these kinds of requests can be made at a time to avoid spamming. Communications are open, creating a temporary recruitment room through the Blizzard app, allowing both live conversation and offline exchanges between the agent and officers. Recipients can then look at who's applying for their guild, or who's requesting to join their guild. Within this space, it's up to the participants as to what they'd like to do. Hold an interview, schedule a trial run, take the conversation to voice chat, or just cut to the chase and induct a new member to the guild directly from the app. From there, they're on their own. Blizzard did its part helping to bring these two parties together. Now it's up to them to keep it together, or to let it fall apart. There's an unknown quantity within WoW's population of players looking for more than just the quick dungeon run on a lunch break, and value a structured schedule or to find like-minded people. A random queue just doesn't meet that need. Just like how it's now possible to quickly form a group, it should be easier for players to find a home, or to build a home for others to join. There is, of course, the double-edged sword. So it begs the question that if it becomes easy to find and join a guild, will it also be easy to leave it, or abandon it, and rebuild again? The answer isn't so much that it will or it won't be easy, but it's more that players should have the opportunity to make that choice. Thank you very much, share your thoughts, and stay breezy.